Hello, Fantasy Goats. Welcome to this fine Tuesday evening. I am your shepherd. I am joined by the trio to end all trios, your other shepherds, aka I got the Commissioner Rhino. We've got JX Fantasy Sports, baby, and the one and only Breakout Bradley. We brought Breakout Bradley's keeping the name, folks, because we are going to talk about more breakout players. That's right. We are going to hit wide receivers that are poised to break out in their second season. There might even be some receivers that are entering their third year. Not too sure about that. However, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to some other news and notes that broke between yesterday and today. Important figures in football and, of course, in fantasy. That would be Nick Chubb signing with the Texans on a minor, not a minor, but not a very large deal. A nice, veterans prove it, get in
incentive laden deal.
Get in here and help us type of deal, yeah. And also, J.K. Don't Call Me Rollins Dobbins did sign today with the Broncos. I want to get to that a little bit later, though, guys. We'll touch upon those guys. Maybe we'll touch upon AR, but we'll see if this time. We'll get into the big winners and losers of those situations, but yeah, I want to get into the year 2 wide receiver breakouts, and if we have year 3 wide receiver breakouts, I want to get into those too. Guys, yeah, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We got content coming all the way through this summer. That is right here, right through the 2025 NFL season. We are excited AF, and let's get right to when I started playing fantasy, Rhino, and you gentlemen as well, gentle goats. I don't know if this was just like a conditioned type of deal passed on by the few analysts that we were following back in the turn of 2000s, and we know some of these names, but like it was always, according to the magazines, according to the articles, it was always the year 3 wide receiver is when we should expect the breakout. I think my theory is anyway that as we've moved through the last 20 years or so, I think the athlete has gotten more athletic. Yes, the more, whether we could also chalk up to fantastic advancements in medicine, so on and so forth.
We also have to consider I read an article about this last year or 2 years ago, where they were saying that like the ages of the athletes are getting a little bit older. So because of that, like they're blossoming into their bodies, at the proper time when they get into the league. So like now they're getting into the league at like 19, 20 years old. So by the time they reach 22, 23, they're at their physical peak. Whereas like if they were to come out of college at like, or come straight out of high school, it would be almost impossible because they physically wouldn't be able to play the game.
It makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. I'll see that. I agree with that. And then as I'm just thinking about it, also how about like maybe they're getting a little bit more smarter or paying more, being more students of the game. I don't know. Again, these are just theories. Nothing is proven or tested. Mr. Bakes Goat, what is up, homie? Glad you are here with us. Let's go. Let's just fire it away.
Goat too. That's an original goat right there.
Let's just fire it away just because Mr. Bakes is in the house, and Mr. Bakes is going to draft one of these guys, and he's going to reap the rewards like the rest of us are going to do. Who wants to start us off? Who wants to go first? I want somebody to come in freaking hot.
I mean, I come in hot. So if you want it hot and ready, I got it for you. So.
Okay, Little Caesars. Where's that promo?
And of course,
hot and ready.
Go ahead.
I want Bradley to take off that sweatshirt. That's how hot I want it to get in here.
It's chilly in my apartment. That is why I'm wearing a sweatshirt.
Gotcha.
Yeah, let's get fiery.
All right. So now I have a second year guy, and this isn't gonna be your Marvs or your neighbors today. We're going a little bit deeper than that.
Uh-oh.
So just buckle up with me, and we're gonna see the vision. So my first breakout is Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver
Damn.
Roman Wilson.
Damn, bro. You stole my
Wow.
thunder.
Yeah,
You
Roman
stole my
Wilson.
thunder.
I
Wow.
mean, Roman Wilson, for us who didn't know, it was Michigan's best wide receiver on the national championship team. And he had all the stats for the wide receivers because Michigan runs, if you didn't know, under John Harbaugh, they ran a run first, run second, and run third offense. And then with that being, said, Roman Wilson was able to get 789 receiving yards, 12 receiving touchdowns in that offense.
Mhm.
Super athletic guy, 4.39, 1.51, 10-yard split. And what really stuck out to me the most here, and why I'm particularly sticking on Roman Wilson is, they just signed Aaron Rodgers finally. And if you did not know, Aaron Rodgers targets the slot
Mhm.
35% of the time. Last year was a little bit higher. So that was over the last 3 year span. So he's gonna be looking for Roman Wilson. I do believe Roman Wilson's gonna have a serious, you know, um, role on this team. I don't see, and I don't buy Freiermuth. So if it's not Freiermuth, it got to be the slot guy.
And plus, he knows that he has good route tree too. He's not a one trick pony. I think DK Metcalf is going to just be down the like he was a Seattle, just down the field, you know, go routes, slant routes. But Roman Wilson, he's going to get fed.
Oh, yeah.
Did he play any games at all last year?
He played at a handful. He was injured most of the time.
Yeah, he had an ankle injury that sidelined him for majority of the season, and then when he finally got back, he was dealing with hamstring injuries. So it got to the point where they just kind of shut him down, and
Fair.
he wasn't part of the wasn't part of the offense at all.
Hey, hopefully he takes that year two jump.
No.
Here, I thought I was the only person to mention him.
Is
I was
Roman,
all happy, man. I was gonna come.
Goats think
in.
alike.
is Roman Wilson on your list also?
Yeah,
Owen Wilson.
it's on Rhinos. Yeah,
No.
Not Owen Wilson.
not Owen Wilson. Yeah,
No,
Roman
not
Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah, Rowan Wilson's on my list. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Great
I
minds
figured
think
that would
alike.
happen.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, I mean, look, he is entering his second season, so I mean, he is a candidate, technically speaking. There's a ton of question marks here. First one being is the old man, in the room.
Does he still got it?
He's got to be able. He's gonna have to support one wide receiver. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to be Roman Wilson over supporting DK Metcalf.
It's gonna be DK.
Let alone now then you want to add in a reliable, competent Pat Freiermuth. Also
Jalen Warren.
Robert Woods. Bobby Trees.
Bobby
Yuck,
Trees.
yuck.
Yeah, but Bobby
all
Tree.
three of those answers, yuck.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Woods.
Robert Woods is going to block.
Freiermuth.
Robert Woods is going to block. That is one thing he's going to teach those guys how to do, and that's what he's going to be there for, to block.
Blocking does nothing for us.
Yeah, Robert Woods probably end up having like 25 catches on the season. Like he's not going to be involved.
But seriously though, do we not think Roman Wilson can't block?
I mean,
He played in Michigan.
Yeah, but he's a little bit smaller though, so I don't know if he'll be as effective at the next level. I don't know if he'll be as effective. But like Robert Woods, like he's a big body guy. You can have him block a outside linebacker if you want.
No, you're right. I miss Robert Woods, but
Yeah, right.
it was time.
Again,
Bobby Cheese, Mr. Reliable.
He's gonna throw your breakout for Robert Woods.
the last again, the last, and I heard you say that those names were yuck. Yeah, this whole freaking offense is yuck, with the exception of Caleb. But and we also have to factor in Arthur Smith. Now, and here's a real wild card here. You know, we all seem to think that, you know, Aaron Rodgers is going to morph into some sort of Arthur Smith offense. And I'm sure that he's acting like a really nice, good soldier on the phone, having conversations with Arthur Smith prior to this weekend. So I'm sure it was all nicey nice. And yeah, of course I'll get along with it. When it comes down to being at the line of scrimmage, okay, he's most likely going to check into the play that he feels is going to have the most success. Now, again, so then I'm just going to circle it right back. Hey, you're running into a little bit of an issue, even if Arthur Smith does somehow dialing it up for Roman Wilson in this nice designed route. B, I think the man's gonna act all freaking. He's gonna be his own machine, as he always is. He's gonna. What's the word I'm looking for? He's gonna act all
disenchanted.
Oh, high and mighty, I guess. He's gonna act enigmatic.
He's
That was
going.
a good one.
He's going to do Aaron Rodgers type.
Aaron Rodgers things, yeah. Sidebar: over and under 5.5 games before him and the OC are yelling at each other.
Oh, I want to see
Aaron.
I want to see. What was it? Buddy Ryan and the OC Gilbright throwing blows on the sideline. I want to see something.
It would be one thing. Like if this was, you know, in pretend land, maybe 3-4 years ago. I think we all know that this is it for him. 1 year deal, again, a damn near veterans minimum, damn near with incentives. I mean, this team is not making a deep run. They'll probably crack a wild card again, and it would behoove Aaron Rodgers just go out as nice of a soldier as possible. I don't know I don't know if it's going to happen behind the scenes. I'm sure that we may hear reports about it come when this is all said and done, or there's going to be speculation and commentary on it, like why did the Steelers lose 42-13. And we'll hear, and there's going to be speculation. So let's again, Roman Wilson again is a candidate. He's probably, my guess is, would you draft him, JX? Are you drafting Roman Wilson?
Yeah. So I'm definitely he's an easy flyer. I mean, I'm gonna let you know right now. Everybody that I have on my list is a round 10 or lower. So, hey, I'm just
I'm happy about that, because a couple of guys that we have here or that we plan to talk about are not. They're going higher than that. Just based on the nature of who they are, what we expect of them, expectations. Go ahead, Rhino. Give us someone that's not named Roman Wilson.
This is Mr. Zay Flowers.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
74 receptions, 1,059 yards, 14.3 average, only 4 touchdowns, average 6.2 yards. Now, I love Zay Flowers, but Zay Flowers frustrates the shit out of me because they don't give him the ball. If they would give him the ball, those numbers would go up exponentially.
That's Brown.
He has the ability and athleticism to be a top 5 receiver. They just don't throw him the ball. 74 receptions, that seems like a lot, but then you see some other stuff. A lot of the passes they throw him are like dink and dunks and stuff like that too. Some downfield. So that's my first breakout.
If they were to dial it up a little bit more for Zay Flowers, if they were to be more target centric, onto Zay Flowers, he could very well catapult from the wide receiver 2 ranking that he's got right now to more of a high-end wide receiver to low-round wide receiver 1. I don't know. I don't think he'll finish that way only because of how this team is built. This team is built to, I guess, distribute the ball evenly. We saw Rashad Bateman if we were doing this show this time last year, I mean, Rashad Bateman was a breakout candidate, and he certainly did break out. We heard all the coaches speak regarding Rashad Bateman this previous season, and it came to fruition. Again, now is Rashad Bateman going to regress? Possibly, which could lend in favor to Zay Flowers, in my opinion. It sure can. But again, I kind of feel like this offense is just like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like, I feel like it's been like the curse of the Baltimore Ravens, right? Because they're so good that they can get into situations where Derrick Henry's going crazy on the ground, and the defense is playing so good that it's 17-0 before you know it, and Zay Flowers doesn't have an opportunity to even catch the ball anymore.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating part about.
The dude is like their full-time wide receiver starter. Okay, they line him up. I'm pretty sure they line him up all over the formation. So I mean, there's plenty. There is plenty of opportunities for him, and it's just a matter of operating out of the confines of that offense with the king, a good tight end, and it's like, oh yeah, they are happy-go-lucky when it's 17-0 in the fourth quarter. Zay Flowers has 1 catch for 25 yards, and you're fucking pissed. I get it. I absolutely get it. And then, Rhino, when you just said 75 catches, yeah, that's good. 75 catches isn't bad. 75 catches was better than like Devontae Smith. 75 catches, I'm pretty damn sure, was better than Marvin Harrison Jr., who we'll get to.
And I think you look at too, this would be a second year in that offensive system too. So maybe they open it up a little bit more. Maybe they don't want Lamar running the ball as much.
I could buy into this one. Forgive me, JX. I could certainly buy into this one a little bit more than Roman Wilson. I could buy.
That's fine.
I guarantee you, I have one that you're not going to buy into.
It's a candidate. He's a candidate. So by all means, he's eligible. We're not going to disqualify him. However, Zay Flowers, again, he's on a much better offense.
Oh, no, for sure.
And if Rashad Bateman's touchdown regression does hit, which we expect it to, we could very well see it increase over to Zay. I like that one. I like that one. I'm not a big Ravens guy. I like that one.
Yeah, that's just a frustrating team. Because like I said, I've been there with Zay Flowers. I mean, I'm talking about
it has to be game script dependent. I had Zay Flowers last year, and that's how I would decide when to start him in fantasy. If I knew it was going to be a close game, I started Zay Flowers. If I knew that it had a likely chance of being a blowout, I benched him.
I had him last year, and I traded him for Kenny Skywalker.
Oof, you lost on that trade.
No, it was towards the end of the season.
Kenny Skywalker.
Because he got hurt, but
he was on.
Kenny blew a tire again.
We'll get into the running backs. If not later on this week.
Yeah, if
FantasyGoats.
If Zay Flowers is on the Chiefs or the Packers, he's immediately skyrocketing.
If he's on the Rams,
if he's on the Rams, if he's on a team that likes to pass the ball and that passes it in like neutral game script, he'd be a great player. Well, he'd be a better player than he is now.
All right, what do you guys see?
Zay Flowers. Well, get to my guy in a second. Zay Flowers is wide receiver 28. He's going as a high end. No, wide receiver 22. I'm sorry. Yeah, wide receiver 22.
High end wide receiver 2.
That's not low end wide receiver 2.
Low wide receiver 2. Okay. I mean, technically his stats are similar to T Higgins.
except for not as many touchdowns.
Well, yeah, of course, but it's not by much.
No.
Again, 116 targets.
Yeah.
Cracked 1,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
He could take another step forward in
Good.
year three. In year three.
Yeah.
Let's get to the prodigal son. We all know who that is. The prodigal son.
Which one?
Yeah, I know.
Sure, we got a lot of
Glad, William.
and you're aging all of us at that point. Marvin Harrison Jr., man. I mean,
Nice.
like on paper, he didn't have it wasn't a bad season. 8 touchdowns, few shades under 1,000 yards. Not a lot of catches. Maybe I think he got to around 68, 70. I'll double check Marvin Harrison. But here's why. He is absolutely poised to break out. First things first, it's the same damn wide receiver room. Nothing has changed. There's no new additions. If anything, a subtraction. Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr.,
Greg Dortch.
and is it Dortch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not Rondell Moore, Greg Dortch. Okay.
Greg Dortch, yeah.
Yeah, Dortch, yep.
Fine, Greg. Marvin Harrison, if this team now in his second season has taken a look at his route tree and where he was successful and whatnot, then it'll be clear as day to them, because they are professionals, that he has succeeded. His best his highest route success was when he went across the middle. Coming all the way across from the boundary, across the middle. Now, conversely, which is kind of perplexing to me, is that's what Kyler Murray was. That was his least amount of targeted passes. Okay, so on one hand, you got Marvin Harrison, who's excelling or had his best successes, other than like the basic out route, was the dig across the middle. But yet Kyler Murray didn't throw that pass at the higher percentage than he threw other ones. They have to readjust him. Now, you'd say, fine, of course, redeploy Marvin Harrison. Okay, so that's taking him off the line. Now you can move Marvin Harrison around. This is no-brainer shit. Start moving, get him out of the slot, or move him off the line of scrimmage, kind of out wide, but not at the X, and then have him run all the routes that you would want from a prototypical Alpha 1 wide receiver. Look, and this is recently, just as we're putting this content together, photos surfacing.
Yeah, he's jacked.
Yeah. So I mean, what's that for? That is for him to be able to win in contested catches.
Yep.
He's got to be able to win one-on-ones. And if you're going to tell me that the number 4 overall pick out of the Ohio State can't win, then this could be monumentally bad. Last things last. And I did start off as the prodigal son. Pops didn't really break out until year 4. Now, yeah, part of that.
They had identical stats year 1.
Part of that, and I think you'll be able to confirm this, Peyton Manning didn't come on until a couple of years, 2 or 3 seasons after Marv. So then once they got a season or 2 underneath them, that's when Pops took off. Junior could absolutely feast in this offense as long as they kind of okay, you've got to get him moving around in different parts, deploy him in several different spots. He's got a better opportunity now. He's going to run more routes where he'll have more targets. More targets should lead to more catches. And the touchdown variance was already there. He already had 8. He's already at 8. So let's get him to 9 or 10. We need him to get more yards.
He's way
catches.
He's way too good. Let's get him to 12.
Okay. Look, I'm all for that. I really am. But I think where we really make it up, at where he's going right now, again, still that wide receiver 21. We're getting a discount from last season. Let's keep that in mind also. So it's not as bad drafting him this year as it was last year.
Last year, yeah.
Said and done. However, look, I'm okay with the same amount of touchdowns as long as we're getting him on an ascension.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get him over 1,000. We need to get him close to the 100 balls mark. And also, and lastly, Rhino, I don't want to hear that the dude can't throw over the middle. He could get out. He could scramble.
He's too short. He's too short.
He wasn't too short for DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, but DeAndre Hopkins wasn't really going over the middle. DeAndre Hopkins was getting a lot of work on the outside.
DeAndre Hopkins was all over the place. I don't like the stigma around like Kyler Murray right now. And the real reason I don't think that we saw, and Steve was talking about this the whole time, the offensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals wants to do two things. He wants to run the football, and he wants to get the tight end involved. He wants to keep those things condensed. He wants to keep those things in a power formation. And if you wanted to do that, sorry, I'm going to go a little rant here.
Go.
If you wanted to do that, you shouldn't have drafted Marvin Harrison. You should have drafted Brian Thomas, or you should have drafted Brock Bowers. You should have drafted Brock Bowers and did two tight ends.
Yeah.
It blew my mind last year watching Marv, and all they did was put him in the X. That was it.
Yep.
They just
one side of the field. Yeah.
When was Marv just being thrown up the ball on the outside? That's not his game.
Right.
Marv plays inside, outside. He knows how to find the matchups. The coaching needs to be better.
He's a great route runner. Yeah.
He's an excellent route runner. But all Petzing said was, go out there and run that fly route, and we'll toss it to you.
We'll throw it to you in the back of the end zone.
Yeah,
Watch you catch a touchdown. Yeah, right. Watch you catch a touchdown over 2 DBs, and then don't throw you a target for 3 more games.
Yeah, but if he can figure it out.
I don't think the owner will stand for that. I mean, maybe through the course of this season upcoming, it may fly. But if they do not have team success with it, that shit ain't gonna fly when you're drafting a wide receiver 4th overall to pair with your quarterback. Flip side, vibes on Kyler Murray. I think he's also on a short leash. You are giving this dude as much resources as possible. You damn near got much better on defense as far as paper's concerned, but they should be a better unit.
Should be, yeah.
You should be giving Kyler Murray in the offense more possessions, more opportunities. So, I mean, I think this is a maker or breaker season for Kyler Murray as well. How much longer are you going to go on with this dude if he can't? I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to go 9-8 again and miss the playoffs?
Yep.
Well, I mean,
could happen.
But again, Marvin Harrison, though, that doesn't change the fact that if they were to readjust, make some changes to the play calling. Look, Marvin Harrison does stand to have a breakout season. How much of a breakout season yet to be determined. I think this dude he should get over 1,000 yards, for crying out loud. He should be able to get 80, 90 balls. We were at the floor last season as a rookie. It won't get worse. All right. Bradley, who's breaking out?
It is none other than rock star Ricky Pearsall from the 49ers.
Ricky.
I think that a lot of people, I love Ricky.
I like it.
Yeah, a lot of people are forgetting that Ricky Pearsall is a stud. Ricky Pearsall is elite. Ricky Pearsall was a 1st-round draft pick.
Yep.
He has the talent. He has the ability. Ricky Pearsall, though, got shot before last year started. So because of that, he missed a lot of time, heavy recovery, and he wasn't able to do much until towards the back end of the season when he started coming on. And I guess, when he finally got to close to 100%, and he was in better football shape. Debo Samuel is leaving, and Ricky is going to get some of those manufactured touches that Debo used to get, the screens, the end arounds from the slot. He's going to get like, some carries, some manufactured carries. And he's an incredible route runner. He has incredible hands. Yeah, he's going to be the joker of that offense. And not to mention, Ayuk is coming back off of his injury, so he might not be 100% right away. So as they try and like work him in slowly, I think Ricky, Jennings, and Kittle, the offense is gonna run through those three guys. I've seen videos of CMC, and I'm not sure that he's gonna be in football shape by week 1. So I do think that those pass catches there, especially Ricky, are gonna come on very, very hot this year. I think Ricky's in for a great season.
This is if the offensive line gives Purdy time to throw, I can see that. I believe that. But that's the only downfall is the offensive line and Purdy not having the time to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And he's nursing a little hammy right now, and that needs to be. I know it's just a slight thing, and it could be better by training camp, but it could also be tweaked real easily too.
Yeah, if it persists, then it becomes a real problem. Yeah,
I'm 100% with you though. But those are only the two down. Like I go against just those two things.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have him. Again, we've said this before. I'd rather have you freaking hurt, ding, dump, injured now, as opposed to September 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And Ayuk might be freaking traded.
He could be. It's very possible. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna go. Dude just got freaking paid. He was hurt, and now you're complaining about effing money. Get out of here, you freaking prima donna! God.
Yep, got a bag.
God.
Yeah, I don't know.
I saw that. I about crap my pants when I saw that. I was like, "Are you kidding me, dude?"
That's insane.
It is insane.
Who?
Yeah, I just don't know who to believe in this offense. Because you look at it at first and it's like, oh, Debo's gone, so that just means the next person up. But nah, it's not just the next person up because
it's not.
Ayuk is still for the last time he played, one of the most efficient receivers we've just about ever seen. And then Ricky Pearsall, the way he ended last season, we would hope for that to continue. But Jawan Jennings.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be a factor too.
And then on top of that, George Kittle was amazing last year.
He's still there, yeah.
It feels like he's just constantly going to be a tight end 5, forever. So yeah, it's like he's going to be a tight end 5 forever. He's not losing any targets. It's just hard for me to put my finger down on the guy in this offense. I'm hoping it's Ricky Pearsall because, like I said, the way he finished last season, he looked like the most explosive weapon that they had.
But that's the beauty of this offense, though, is they're a big play offense at the end of the day. So it's like it's possible to sustain multiple guys throughout the season. Of course, it's not going to be a weekly thing, but it's possible to have multiple guys go off a week because of like how they design their plays, because of how they execute them, how they pick on the mismatches and things like that. So it could still just be, like Ron said, that's my biggest concern too, the O-line. If the O-line can give Purdy at least some average blocking and he can have some time, then the offense will just run the way that it usually does.
I also don't think it's a coincidence that week 10 seems to be an outlier with 6 targets, 4 catches, but then it went back. Then it picked up again week 15, week 16, then week 17, 10.
Yeah, that last 3 weeks was.
And week 18. I don't think it's a coincidence that the targets picked back up again when he's now getting a little bit more comfortable. He's being asked to do more on the field. It's like like Kyle Shanahan drafted this guy. He's drafting because he believes that Ricky Pearsall fills a very detailed role for his wide receiver group. Yeah. Where again, this guy's gonna like slam dunk in between zones and whatnot, and then of course, yet to be determined whether Brandon Ayuk, whether he comes back and is that press man beater. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. I really don't. And
Have
then,
you guys
so
seen the timeline for when he's coming back?
yeah, I heard something today, as a matter of fact.
Have you?
Yes, again, from someone in the beat, someone that's reporting out there. They expect him to start preseason, start training camp on Punk.
Yeah.
So again, they're saying that he looks good, but it's just the timetable. He's still early. It's still early. So
and he's still got to ramp it back up to get back into football shape when he gets back on the field.
And he's got to ramp it back up. Now, here's the other thing, right? So, okay, so now let's talk about Juwan Jennings, because all these guys, all three of them, not named Kittles, is going outside of wide receiver 3 territory.
Great values.
You could get
big time.
Pick which one you want. I think we are suggesting that it should be Pearsall. Now, I'm going to tell you why I don't think it should be Juwan Jennings. As good as he was last year, I think he is absolutely at his ceiling. I don't think we're even think we're gonna come close to anything like that from Juwan Jennings.
That's fair.
I think Juwan Jennings at 29, I believe, is a very good complementary spot wide receiver in this offense. And
he's 29 years old?
Yeah, he's 29. Yeah, because he's been on a couple of different teams. Yeah, he's been on a couple of different teams.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
He has, yeah. I think he's been on 2 or 3 teams.
I think
he's been on the 49ers the whole time.
He's only been on the 49ers?
Yeah, but believe me,
what
bro,
the hell?
I hate the 49ers, I know.
And those are some great points, because that's why I picked Pearsall.
He's always been on the sideline. It's been Debo and Ayuk for the last 5 years. And before that, there was some other guys like Michael Crabtree. Now, that might be even further back.
That was way.
And Pearsall, just like Brandon Ayuk, was a first-round pick. So it's like, if a guy gets drafted that high, it's because the coach has a plan for that guy. Yeah. He wants to get that guy involved.
I think they definitely have a plan for Pearsall. Barring no further setbacks from this dude, is to make him this motion guy, line up again. He can line up anywhere, just like Marv, we believe, can line up anywhere. Ricky Pearsall is tailor-made to line up everywhere and be that wide receiver go-to, be that new Debo. Maybe not as powerful, but certainly as quick, certainly as fast.
So and this is
smoother too.
This is I'm gonna go so as far as Jennings, and I know he's not the sexiest of the picks, but you said you looked at Pearsall's last few games, and you're kind of going off of there, and that's not a coincidence. But if you look at Jennings' last 8 games, we're looking at 11 targets, 7 targets, 5 targets, 8 targets, 9 targets. 10 targets, 10 targets. I don't think he just goes away. That's why it's hard for me to put my finger down on who's gonna get the target share.
Here's my guess, right? My guess is Kittle is the one that stays steady. Then outside of Kittle, I think Pearsall is gonna lead the team in receiving yardage or all-purpose yardage, and Juwan Jennings is gonna lead them in touchdowns. Because he's a big frame, he's a big body. In the red zone, they like to throw it up to him. He's a tough catch maker. So I think that's how it'll end up distributing.
We're trying to assess whether this wide receiver is a breakout candidate, and he is. Are we implying to the goats that he's going to have a 1,400, 100 yards, 100 catches, and 12 touchdowns? No, but from where he was again last season, with the amount of games that he played, which was sparingly, recovering from a gunshot wound to the chest. I mean, I don't think that this injury this season is going to hinder him. I think that Ricky Pearsall's draft capital promise comes to fruition, and he has a very productive season, one that we will be able to call a breakout when we're drafting him next year in the middle of the draft, as opposed to as opposed to at the end. We'll know that we have a maybe this we have a 1B situation like we've seen in the Eagles, like we've seen in the Bengals, or he's the A. If he's the A and you drafted this dude round 12,
Yeah,
gold.
Just submit your address for the trophy to be sent.
Yeah.
Elite wide receiver one in like double-digit rounds. Woo!
And if it's
nice,
if it's the Fantasy Goats Invitational, I already have your Venmo. I've got your Zelle. We just send the money out. We just send the money that way. Goats, we appreciate you very much for joining us. If you're just joining us for the first time, give us a like. Please subscribe. Thank you very much. Let's go. Let's get a couple more in. Let's get a couple more.
Let's do it.
JX, give us.
Anybody got anything spicy?
Give us another guy.
It's Caliente over here. It's Caliente.
Let's go, JX.
Round 10 or lower.
Let's go, JX.
Where I won't want to jump off my terrace.
My next breakout, and I think this is the true breakout because we kind of almost had a breakout last year, but some things happened. Wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns, Cedric Tillman. And it's such a sad case because I really do think he was going for something special down at the end of the season.
Cedric the entertainer, baby.
After Amari Cooper got traded, his weekly finish was wide receiver 10, wide receiver 3, and wide receiver 12. Bye week happened. He got picked up on everyone's waiver wire, and they expected that Cedric Tillman to continue. And he dealt with concussions and injuries from that point on and didn't play the rest of the season. All he needed was Amari Cooper to leave, and he was ready to be, the wide receiver one for the Cleveland Browns. I know everybody was stuck on, Jerry Jeudy because Jerry Jeudy played excellent down the line, but when they both were playing, it was Cedric Tillman's wide receiver room. I know people were like, well, Jameis isn't there anymore. Joe Flacco is. Joe Flacco's still going to throw him deep balls. As long as Kenny Pickett doesn't play, Cedric Tillman's going to be just fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would take him over Jerry Jeudy any day.
Shadori. We want Shadori to be throwing to Cedric.
I want Shador to start so bad.
Give me Shador throwing to Cedric Tillman, please.
Shador would pepper him with targets.
Yes, he would.
Cedric the entertainer. Now, a favorite of ours here at the Fantasy Goats, for sure. We picked up Cedric and we rode with him. We definitely did. This was Cedric a rookie last season, or was it his
second year?
So he's going.
Yeah. So this year is the third year. Yeah.
Third year. Yep.
All right. I mean, look, I don't think we're going to get a lot of pass volume unless it's Joe Flacco. We all think that it's going to be Joe Flacco, but we also know that this damn team is projected to be really bad.
Really bad.
They are projected to be really bad, and they're also projected to want to run the ball as much as possible. But it's funny how stubborn I'm going to be running the ball. Now, I know Stefanski didn't quote that, but it's like that. I love him for Dynasty. I love that. In the redraft or in best ball, late round best ball, definitely worth picking up. Definitely worth adding. Definitely worth adding in any of the charity deep roster super flex leagues. Absolutely. That team's gonna be so bad.
They were bad. But they were bad last year.
I know.
They were bad last year with the
They're the kind of
coaching staff.
They're the kind of team that's fun bad.
And Jameis was hitting him. He had with Jameis.
Yeah. I mean, I think Cleveland's going to be a better team than people are giving them credit for. Like, I think they might lose a lot of games, but I think they'll cover a lot of spreads. Like, I think that they'll make a lot of people earn it. They'll make people work for it. Especially when you have a guy like Myles Garrett on the field. He's liable to blow up the game at any given moment.
It's true. And I mean, like we say, projections, not just us, but
Mhm.
they at large are projected to be bad. They may surprise us. Yes, of course.
Right.
And if they surprise us, that's just gonna, I think, I think that's gonna play into the hands of what Stefanski really wants to do, which is run the ball.
Run the ball. Yep.
Look, I think Cedric Tillman also offers a good amount of contingent upside. Let's say Jerry Judy, who doesn't have a perfect track record of injury. He's
No.
been nicked up here and there a little bit.
Mhm.
Nothing catastrophic, I don't think.
No, nothing major.
I think his first or second season, I think he missed a couple of games. But
Mhm.
nevertheless, nothing serious. So if something were to happen to Jerry Judy, Cedric the Entertainer is a definite wide receiver one for
Taking
the
off.
team. Yeah, it's not a bad call. It's definitely not. Someone again, free late round flyer, deep roster, definitely best ball, definitely dynasty. I'm all over that. Cedric, what's up? What do we got next? Who's next?
Steady.
I will go next for the shoe in the name of the shoe and everything representing the shoe. My
Adonai.
breakout candidate is Adonai Mitchell. Of course.
Hey!
Of
What? No
course.
Josh Downs?
Of course. No, well, the only reason why I won't put Josh Downs on a breakout list is because Josh Downs technically has already broken out. Like he had
Okay,
almost
sure.
900 receiving yards last year, even despite him missing the first 3 games. So like he's already on the map. People know who he is. He's a great separator, great yards after the catch guy. He doesn't drop anything. He'll go for the jump ball the same as he'll go for the ball that's on the ground. So I think Josh Downs has already arrived. But Adonai Mitchell left so much meat on the bone last year, and I blame his quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I blame his quarterbacks entirely because the amount of plays where he got like I'm talking 3-4 yards of separation away from the defender. I'm talking has the defender stumbling while he's hitting a double move, and all they have to do is just put it in the breadbasket, and he's walking into the end zone. I expect him to have a similar year to Alec Pierce, where he had last year, where he was scoring all those touchdowns and making big plays. And honestly, at this point, because AR is not getting any reps right now, I firmly believe that with Shane would allow Daniel Jones easy enough reads so that he would make those layups, that he would complete them. Let's see if he actually does it if he has to play. But I do think that AD Mitchell, with this offseason getting in sync with his quarterbacks, I think he'll complete some of those big plays. And he's such an elite separator.
Didn't he have like a top 5 best ass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was, I believe he was number one.
Yeah, for the viewers, average separation score.
Mm-hmm.
But
The
in those
best
series,
ass.
he was top five in that,
It
and
was
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like 5 yards.
quarterbacks just couldn't get him the ball.
It was like
Mm-hmm.
five. It was like he was separated by 5 yards from a lot of his defenders, and then the ball
Mm-hmm.
was another
5 yards
10 yards,
ahead of him.
10 yards ahead of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It was either 10 yards ahead of him or he had to come back and couldn't make a play. And a lot of the Colts fans were pointing out that, like, as the season progressed, he would ease up on a lot of routes because a lot of his routes, he would end up between the corner and the safety. So he would ease up as to not get hit by the safety. So a lot of people were saying that he was scared of contact. But I'm like, if I'm being overthrown on every pass that is thrown my way, why would I put my body in harm's way if the ball's going to get overthrown anyway?
I want to believe in the talent.
Mm-hmm.
That's first and foremost. But then there's a couple of things that are working against all this. Not
Mm-hmm.
ju- and that is the simple fact of he's in a crowded wide receiver.
He is. Mm-hmm.
So that's an issue within itself. Then of course is the low hanging fruit issue of which quarterback is on the center, and lastly, back to I guess wide receiver room / tight end room, Tyler Warren.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Taylor. Now, again, I want to bet that like they didn't just draft this dude in the second round last year for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and maybe Michael Pittman continues to decline, where Adonai Mitchell could carve
Yeah.
out more of a role, more snaps. But other than
Mhm.
that, It's 3 wide receivers. Is he the third man out there? If Pittman's playing at a high level, is he going to be the third man out there with Josh
That's another
Downs
thing.
or Alec Pierce?
So there's a few things there. One, I don't think that he will be a good redraft pick. I think that he's a better best ball pick because he's gonna have explosion weeks.
Mhm.
So he's gonna have some weeks where he gets like 3 for 75 and 2, or like 4 catches for 95 yards because he caught a couple bombs. As far as the pecking order in the wide receiver room, I firmly believe that if he takes a jump this year, there's a chance that we lose Alec Pierce because somebody wants to pay him big money. So then he would slide into the Alec Pierce role.
That's who I have my money on.
Mm-hmm.
I think Alec Pierce goes to another level this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think so
really
too. Mm-hmm. And he might be too expensive at the end of next season.
And I'm not saying that Adonai couldn't get his, and Pittman couldn't get, like, because Josh Downs is going to get his, like that is a for sure thing. But like I said, with Pittman potentially declining, I think Alec Pierce is going to have a season.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
No matter who's throwing the ball.
Yeah, no matter who's throwing the ball. Yeah, exactly.
No matter who.
Mm-hmm.
Great take on Adonai Mitchell being a great best ball play. Let's not deal with the headaches on, okay, should I start him now that he's week, and oh man, it's one of the Mageddons, yet he just exploded the week prior. Now I feel good about getting him in, and it becomes I love that call. And again, I want to bet on that talent. I do want to bet on the talent from Texas. And that brings us to another guy from Texas now, doesn't it? That's right. That's going to be the X-Man, Xavier Worthy. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, people? This is another. I'm going to call it this dude another prodigal son, but he's not. But he's the prodigal son to what was Cheetah. That's right. This is the guy that they want to come in and be that dude. It took a while for Xavier Worthy to get consistent, I want to say, JX. But once he did, after around week 11, and of course also corresponding to Rashee Rice being injured, he became very consistent and just got better as his route tree. Again, much like Marv, the more utilization you get across the line, the more opportunities you're going to get. Well, it's from week 11 to week 18, and then we know what he did in the playoffs. He had at least minimum 4 catches a game, and that just got better as the season went on.
And plus the fact that they used him for jet sweeps, that they moved him around everywhere.
Yes. Okay, fantastic point. Not only did he have a total of 9 touchdowns, again, the touchdown part, we might decline a little bit. Might decline, but not 6 receiving touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, total 9 touchdowns. I don't know if we're going to get 3 rushing touchdowns again. However, he was in that kind of like that trickery.
As long as Andy Reid is there, he's going to get rushing touchdowns.
The gadgets, yes.
Yeah.
Now, of course, like we're not going to be able to change that. We're not going to be able to change Andy Reid's offensive approach. What we also need, and this is imperative for basically all of them, we need that offensive line to be improved. If they are improved, Patrick Mahomes, I think what we saw in that Super Bowl game and what we've seen in the past from him, they want to throw deep, for crying out loud.
They do.
They didn't draft as fast as dude at the combine 2 seasons ago for just to run around behind the line of scrimmage. They want to run deep. This guy will kill zone players as he gets more and more experience. He will be able to beat man and press coverages, and it's lights out from there. He only had 60 catches. 660 yards, absolute bare bones floor minimum. I would expect Xavier Worthy to have a much better season. And even if Rashee Rice comes back full strength, Rashee Rice operates in a much different area.
Right.
Now, again, like so before JX, again, Xavier Worthy flourished when Rice went out, right? So it's like, okay, he did take on some of that role. So if Rice does resume back to full health, they both can't do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a good sign for me though, because I know you're saying when he flourished when Rashee Rice went down, but he flourished also when DeAndre Hopkins got there.
Yeah.
Because when DeAndre Hopkins first got there, it was like we got to feed D Hop. But the more the season went along, it was like, no, we're going to take those catches and those routes from D Hop. We're going to give them to Xavier Worthy. So I even think with Rashee Rice coming back and playing that
could help
same
him.
role as Rashee, I mean, as D Hop was, that he'll still be fed quite a bit.
Look, there's no D Hop, but maybe that guy's Hollywood Brown. Either way, Xavier Worthy's got that pedigree. He's got that talent. If you really want to do side by sides comparisons, again, Tyreek Hill in year 2, this offense just cracked 1,000 yards. Just cracked 1,000. He was close to 100 balls under. And again, maybe 8 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. Again, what we want to see from Xavier Worthy is for him to ascend, more involved in this offense. Catches are going to go up, yards are going to go up, and he already has 9 touchdowns. So let's say he doesn't get 3 on the ground. Let's say he only gets 1 on the season on the ground, but then add another 2 to his receiving. That's fine. Take it. All right, guys. I want to do some quick ones, Rhino. Some quick ones. Well, I was gonna. Well, let me run this idea by you. I was gonna just throw out some names, and let me know whether you would draft a pass.
All right.
Okay.
Rhino, right?
Yeah.
Unless you want to go on with one guy. Unless you.
No, I just closed it out. I'm
if
good.
If you're burning to tell us about Rome, tell us about Rome.
No, we're good.
Rome.
No, my other deep dive was Jordan Whittington.
Oh, that's
deep. Ooh, yeah, that is deep.
That is deep.
Let's do this draft of pass.
Go ahead, shoot him.
Jordan Whittington, draft or pass?
Pass.
I'll pass.
Pass too. Unfortunately, I'll pass only because of the fact of it's an extremely crowded wide receiver room. Now, what you're hoping for? A lot of miles. What you're hoping for Jordan Whittington is an injury. Now what? An injury to who?
Nobody. I don't wish injury to nobody. Not on that team. Nobody.
If I had to pick someone, I would probably say Puka.
Shut up. Be quiet. Don't put that in the air.
I'm not putting it in the air. I'm not putting it in the air. I'm not putting it in the air.
Someone knock on wood.
I'm not wishing any bad juju on any of them either.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm just speaking kind of logically here. Like Jordan Whittington, the only way for him to have, usage is if somebody else isn't on the field. For whatever reason.
Necessarily.
Or Jordan Whittington could gain about 15 pounds. He could join Ferguson. They could be a great 2 tight end, combo.
Is JX see the number here? 4 wide receiver sets. That's what it's
true. True.
They're not going to run Tutu out there. They're going to run Jordan Whittington. Jordan Whittington will be wide receiver 3 on that team, and they'll have special plays for Tutu. But Whittington can do more.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Offers more than Tutu Atwell.
Okay.
I was gonna say this is where I'm gonna jump a little bit. I'm gonna jump a little bit. I'm not for it, but as a Rams fan, I know what Sean likes. Sean likes scheme versatility, where everything looks the same but is different. Puka and Jordan can do the same things, so we could see him out there quite a bit.
Yeah,
I could see that.
But go on with the real ones.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah.
We are
Um,
fans
one.
of the young man, and they decided to go and grab the future Hall of Famer to pair with Puka.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan
Yep.
Whittington's going to learn from one of the best to ever do it,
Well, they're learning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and Puka's learning from one of the best to ever
Mm-hmm.
do it. And again, it's just fantastic depth as they make their Super Bowl run this season.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Another guy I love is JSN. He's one of my breakouts. No more DK Metcalf means target funnel right to JSN. Like he's gonna get the number one wide receiver targets. And I think that because of his pedigree, where he came from, what he did last year, like I think he will be great as a wide receiver one. He can play outside, he can play inside. You can give him handoffs out of the backfield, you can give him jet sweeps, screens, you can line him up at running back, you can line him up as a power slot. He can
JSN.
do everything. Complete wide receiver.
Now enter Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, now into Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has two things that work for him. He knows how to work within the offensive structure, and he's still very accurate.
I love JSN. I love him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Xavier Worthy stat line reminds me of JSN's rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Xavier Worthy actually has exceeded that touchdown. JSN didn't have that many touchdowns in his rookie season, but yes, he did. JSN broke out last year, and he could very well continue to really break out. I suppose, like it would be like a full-on breakout in year 3, if
Mm-hmm.
if we if we see Sam Darnold continue that high level of quarterback play, and if they allow that type of pass volume, which I just don't think they want to play like that. I don't.
Right.
I don't. But yeah, no, he is the unequivocal wide receiver one on that team that could do everything that you just said. Everything.
Yep.
Everything. Draft a pass, Jalen McMillan, folks. Jalen McMillan.
I'll draft him,
I'll draft him.
especially
Pass.
Dynasty.
Mhm.
Dynasty, I'll draft him.
I'm gonna pass.
Pass him.
I'm gonna draft Mbuka. Jalen
In,
Polk.
instead of McMillan?
I'm gonna draft Mbuka. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe in Mbuka. Mecca Mbuka. Yeah, no, McMillan's a good player. He is. He's
Yeah,
a good
but
player.
Abuka's more talented though. Yeah.
Good. McMillan's a good player. Again, I think both of these guys, one way or another, are going to have to rely on either Evans and or Godwin missing time, not having their full-time roles as we're already mapping those
but-
two out.
Yeah, but Godwin broke his leg towards the end of the season.
I know.
Yeah, so that means he's probably not gonna be. He's. There's a good chance he doesn't play at all this year, or if he does, he plays like under eight games.
He's definitely playing.
Yeah, but he's gonna play like a handful of games though. He's not. He broke his leg.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing.
Nah, that's not a good thing.
No,
Yeah,
it's not a good
yeah,
thing.
but coming off of a no, I understand what you're saying, but coming off of an ATL and of an ACL tear, that's a lot of like compound. That's a lot of like compound injuries on his lower body.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but it's better than him having a strain, a super strain,
Or like a fracture or something like that. Yeah.
like he had a clean break to his ankle.
Yeah. It's easier to heal when it's a clean break.
Nagging groin or hamstring that Mike Evans used to always have. So
Right. I mean,
I think,
Father Time.
Yeah, well, 100%. I will be passing on Mike Evans like I normally do.
Mike Evans got to be incredibly cheap this year.
And I do like both of them. I do.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, I would. You know what? Let me change. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I will draft Jalen McMillan just to even out shares with Emeka Ibuka. Some rosters are going to have one, some rosters are going to have the other. And no, I am not best ball. I will stash these guys. I will stash them.
Right. McMillan could be a good trade candidate.
So could Godwin with his contract.
Godwin too, yeah.
You're talking for real. right? You're talking like a real trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a real trade. Yeah, like a Bucks trade. Yeah.
But he's not. They, he turned down money reportedly to stay there.
To stay in Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Here's a double, same team. Okay, how about Devon Veal and Troy Franklin? Are we drafting or passing either of these
Passing.
guys?
Pass.
Yes, Troy Franklin. No, Devon Vale.
I'm drafting Tim Patrick over both of those guys. Not Tim Patrick. I'm sorry. Pat Bryant.
Pat
Yeah.
Bryant. Yeah.
Pat Bryant. Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, you haven't even seen Pat Bryant play though. You don't know if he's going to be as good at this level.
That's fair.
I
You take it.
trust. It's the same reason why I want RJ Harvey. Sean Payton reached for both of those guys, so he wants them.
Speaking of RJ Harvey,
Yeah, fair enough.
And with the fact that Payton has made comments about that Pat Bryant reminds him of Michael Thomas too.
Well.
I would draft Veal.
Somebody loves Pat Bryant.
I would not be drafting. Troy Franklin, but Veal, yes. And two on this team: Xavier Legette, and then Jalen Coke.
Jalen Coker. Ooh.
I'm going to get. I'll draft Legette.
I think Coker's the better receiver. I'd take Coker.
I am also drafting Coker.
A lot of people say that Jalen Coker is poised to have a really good season now that they brought in Tet to basically just like take everything away from the other receivers. I think it's going to be Xavier Legette. I think it's going to be that dude, that strength, that speed, that DK 2.0. That's Bryce's second option.
But his nuances aren't really, like a DK's, because even in college, DK could still like win some routes. He could still stack DBs. Like he was still doing like nuanced things where he was creating separation because of his superior size and speed. Whereas Legette is not like that. Legette is you get him on a good crossing route, he can outrun the DB. So like he's the athlete. He's the like throw me a lob off the backboard and I'll go dunk it kind of guy. But
he can grow into that though. Just because he was that,
he can. That's true.
Doesn't mean he's going to be like that.
But he didn't really show a lot of that though last year. That's what I'm worried about.
But he does show me that trait.
Yeah. The burning DBs, outrunning players and stuff like that. Yeah.
The desire to want to learn, the desire, a thirst for improvement. I see. He trains and breeds horses. Yeah,
he's a hard worker. He's a good dude.
This is an eats raccoons. He's an educated individual.
Eats raccoons.
All right, guys. We just brought up RJ Harvey. What do we make of, DK, JK Dobbins now signing a small 1 year, $5 million. He's going to be in that running back room. Who wins and who loses here?
RJ Harvey's fine.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think JK is there to get a couple touches. Maybe he might get a few touches, like a few extra touches early. But I think RJ Harvey is gonna like take over.
Yeah,
just the talent alone, I think is gonna take over fast.
I think it's the fact that I think it'll be like a 70-30, 65-45 split. I don't think Peyton wants to run RJ Harvey into the ground, and having J.K. Dobbins plus J.K. Dobbins is a good veteran influence with a very, very young locker, running room. He offers more than Estime and Batty and McLaughlin.
Yeah, than everybody in that room. Yeah,
and that's the whole reason why they did this was that.
And I also think it's crazy how he was talking about Estime about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and now he basically just took all of Estime's cares away just now.
Yeah, but Sean Payton does that though. He likes to play mind games with people.
Oh yeah.
If they've offered him, if it had been a higher paying contract, I'd be more worried about RJ Harvey. But because of the way the contract's laid out, I'm fine. I'm still drafting RJ Harvey.
Yeah, what is it like a year for 5.5, something like that?
Yep. I think it was
like 2 years, 6 million, something like that.
Was it 2 years?
Yeah.
I think he got a 1 year deal.
Was it 1 year?
I think so. I think he got a 1
2 year for 6 million.
I'm not going to sit here and say that J.K. Dobbins was brought in to be the primary ball carrier. I'm not here to say that. Um, this is probably more of an indictment on Jaleel McLaughlin, along with Audric Estime. Although, like Audric Estime, they're not going to cut him yet.
Right.
No,
It's too soon.
They could very well just cut McLaughlin at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know if I really want to put 60-40, 65-35 on it yet, because this could very well just be like, okay, J.K. Dobbins, I trust you on third down.
Yeah.
While we could continue to just have this kid learn third down.
Or I trust you on short yardage.
Which he's been on record that R.J. Harvey needs to develop, as well as far as pass blocking, as far as pass catching. That's what kind of takes R.J. Harvey's stock down a couple of ticks, and it always did for me. And as far as doesn't want to run him into the ground, I'm not sure if I'm kind of buying that either, because I mean, if you don't want to run him into the ground now, again, just the quote, not necessarily your quote, but the quote, I want to run him into the ground. Well, when do you want to do it? You want to do it at 29? When he's 30? When do you want to run him into the ground?
Right.
If he's doing well now.
If he's doing well, but if
he's doing well now, if the offensive line, right? If the offensive line is doing well and he's getting 4.55 yards a carry, and then he winds up having 20 attempts, he's going to wind up exceeding 300 touches anyway, right? And then that's not even the playoffs. So, I'm not sure if it's like Peyton and his coaching staff saying, "Shit, I want to really limit him, and because we want to be careful with him."
How about protect him, not limit it, protect him?
Yeah, I think it's more. I think it's more so that too. Like I just think Sean Payton just knows how to use his running backs.
Yes.
The most efficient way possible.
Yes.
Because I mean, I know when J.K. Dobbins got signed, everyone was kind of afraid, but I think back to Mark Ingram and Kamara. Like Kamara was far better. He was far better than Mark Ingram, but he just used Kamara so efficiently. He was still I think he was a top 7 back his rookie year.
Yeah, on a little bit over 200 touches.
And they're both very
I'm not
viable
afraid of J.K. Dobbins at all. And I still think J.K. Dobbins will end up having a good season too.
Oh, of course, they could both eat. Yeah.
I think what you're saying, and you're bringing up a great point, just to wrap it all up in a bow. It's like, if both of these guys are operating within the confines of what this man wants to do offensively, he ain't gonna give a shit what the numbers look like.
Not a single one
at the end of the day, other than whether it was a win or a loss. So this shouldn't hurt R.J. Harvey. It shouldn't. And at the same time, I don't really expect. At the same time, I don't expect J.K. Dobbins to be. Like I said, I don't expect him to come in and be the primary ball carrier. I expect some sort of tandem act working to JX's point. And lastly, before we go, Fantasy Goats, we really appreciate you for being here, for watching us up on the channel. Please like and subscribe. Nick Chubby, rest in peace, Woody. No.
Oh yeah.
Woody's safe.
Not our Woody.
I mean, he's probably gonna get touches sooner than later. Both those guys in front of him are likely to break down.
A lot of the people that I was talking with today think Anna Pierce is gone, or two.
Yeah, Pierce is probably gone.
Mixon's gone. Woody Marks wasn't drafted to be the number 1 running back right now. He was drafted.
Yeah, no, of course.
He was drafted to pass catching running back. And that would still stand true.
What? Yep. I need to get the Woody banner, or I need a Woody. I have to have a Woody graphic here.
So is it the death to Woody's touches, or is it the death of Joe Mixon being an RB1?
I think the death of Joe Mixon being RB1.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, so
I don't know. I still think Joe Mixon's going to be the RB1 though.
Yeah, but see, if you look back to towards the end of the last season, his efficiency went down.
Well, yeah, he was getting 3 million carries.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was handling every single touch. There was a game where he had like 36 carries for like almost 200 yards. Like he was getting every single carry out of that backfield.
And let me clarify. I didn't say the RB1. I said a RB1. So
No. Yeah, a RB1. Yeah, I think he can still get there.
Here's the thing. I think they're both the same age.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nick Chubb has been injured now 2 out of the last 3 seasons. He hasn't had a healthy
His
season.
knees have been
He
obliterated.
hasn't had a healthy season, but when the two of them side by side have been healthy, Nick Chubb is far and away been the better running back.
Right.
Of course.
I can now again. I don't want to. All I could do is kind of predict my take. They are a little concerned still. Let's go back to. I think it's much better to be a little banged up now, but he is walking around in a walking boot, Joe Mixon. So they said, okay, this is a no-brainer. Let's add this guy for depth. It costs us nothing. Yeah. If they're both healthy going into the season, well, we'll try to roll out Joe Mixon in between the 20s. We'll rotate both of them in the red zone, and we'll see how this goes. I mean, drafting Joe Mixon is the issue here. I'm not saying now we all jump on board and take the really good value with Nick Chubb, because I don't know if it is really good value. I don't know if you're really getting good value there other than just a Joe Mixon handcuff.
No, especially with the running backs are right around that area where you can draft.
If we're drafting Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb may just be one of the most expensive handcuffs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think we're gonna have to listen to D'Amico Ryan as training camp comes up next month, and see how this one plays out. But yeah, who wins? Nick Chubb wins. So if he's going to be healthy and get on the field, Joe Mixon is Joe Mixon to me stands to lose here, and Woody Marks, unfortunately, Woody Woodpecker,
actually
gets to learn from both of them.
Yeah.
Right.
A quick question for all you guys then: what does J.K. Dobbins and Nick Chubb say about the Bears' backfield now?
Home run.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Great point. No pun intended.
No, I don't.
The real winner out of this whole thing was the Chicago Bears backfield.
DeAndre Swift.
Huge winner.
Yeah, that's very interesting to me. I'm curious to see what they plan to do there, because there's a real chance that Chicago is not a running team. Like there's a real chance that like Caleb is like sitting in shotgun, making reads, throwing 29 to like 35 passes every single game. That could possibly be their offense. I know a lot of people. Yeah, because a lot of people are assuming
Swift though, because Swift is better.
He's a better pass catcher. Exactly, right. So like a lot of people are assuming that Ben Johnson is going to bring over the power run game from the Lions, but with what they've been doing and the players that they have, I don't think they can run a power run game.
I think Luther Burden was brought up for a reason. I think he might take some carries.
He might take some carries too. Yeah,
I'm starting to believe it. Like I said it a couple months ago. I'm like, what is Luther Burden's role going to be on this team? Like seriously, like. But the more this offseason's going along, I'm like, yo, they're going to give the ball to him in the backfield. They're going to give him out of the slot. They're going to
DJ Moore. DJ Moore can handle carries.
He's not.
I don't know if he's up for that anymore.
I mean, he might not be. Yeah,
he's a little older, but for them to draft Luther Burden that high, and for them to not address the running back until round 7. And I love Kyle Monangai coming from Rutgers, but it doesn't look like he's actually going to get any play time.
Another Rutgers maniac like Isaiah Pacheco. Let's put a pin in this, because we've got the rest of this off season, this preseason,
yes, sir,
to get into the running backs, and we certainly will next week. Really appreciate everybody that tuned in and is watching us. Guys have any final remarks before we get up on out of here and have some dinner, smoke some cigars?
Yeah.
If you guys are in areas that are
smoke cigars,
hydrate yourself.
No, not really.
Make a difference, man.
Looks like you smoke cigars.
Who, me?
No, Bradley. I can see
Bradley, no. I don't smoke cigars.
can see
I've
Bradley
had
smoking
a couple of cigars. I would love to. I'd love to get into it.
We should smoke some cigars, Bradley.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go Pacers. That's it.
Yeah, Pacers in 6. Still,
Yay.
Pacers in 6. Game 3 should be amazing.
Be a difference, as Rhino says, and make a difference, like Rhino
Yeah.
says.
Mhm.
Stay safe out there. We'll see you again on Thursday, goats.
Have a good night, everybody.
Peace.